The following program is for adult audiences only.
Time to open up some whoop ass.
We bring the heart to the heartland, where the souls collide, dreams expand, not ours are set. We're bumping chops and running roads in the world of pro wrestling, where the weak will show. From the top row to the depths below, the warriors in the ring with nowhere to go. Blood, sweat, and tears, it's a battle of the wills. We bring the heart to the heartland. Heart to the heartland. Turn the volume up, they can hear from hell. Everyone's ready, so let's ring the bell. Ding, 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 let's start the clock. HVW, yeah, we're bumping chops.
Welcome back to HCW's Bumping Chops, where the chops hurt and the words mean nothing. I'm your host, Billy Simmons, co-owner of Heartland Championship Wrestling, alongside my good friend, Bobby Casey.
What's up, everybody? Welcome back to another episode of Bumping Chops. Bumping Chops is proudly presented to you by the Chubby Buddy Studio. So if you like Bumping Chops, make sure you hit that like, subscribe, and leave a comment in the YouTube channel. Also follow us on Facebook, Instagram, TikTok, and also Instagram.
I think you said ins.
I did?
Maybe.
I don't know.
Anyways, to get more of the latest information about HCW, follow us at hcwlive23 on all social media platforms. That is, again, hcwlive23.
And today we are going to hit you with some wrestling history, which I think this will be kind of fun. And I don't think I would be doing wrestling justice if I didn't bring it up. And that's, I read two of them. Two of them are really good, but this one's got to take the cake.
Okay.
Then we're going to, actually, our special guest today is going to be none other than the host of the show, Billy. We're going to do a deep dive on him and his wrestling career and kind of pick his brain about being a wrestler, being an owner, being a promoter. I'm assuming those are sort of the same thing, but maybe a little bit different. We'll see. But we're also going to pick his brain about his upcoming show, Legacy, which is his form of WrestleMania. Is that correct?
That is correct.
And I think that's... and then you have some news about a new sponsor.
We do. Exciting news about the new sponsor.
New sponsor, and what else was it that we were going to highlight?
Just secured 3 dates in Salina, Kansas.
That's right. 3 dates in Salina that I don't think I've been to a show in Salina yet.
You know, was talking to my brother a little bit. He's unfortunately booked for all but one of those. So, Bobby, want to come to the line?
Oh, wow. Okay. You're going to hit me with that like that, huh? Oh, you're going to do it on an episode. Is that what you and Danny were talking about before
that's
you came over?
it. You know, we just had to have a conversation.
Okay, well, let me ask the wife before I say yes, but it should be yes.
Hey, I respect that. You know, asking the wife, making sure she's good with that. That's awesome.
Well, she hasn't said no to you yet. I mean... I don't think I've asked her too many questions where she could say no to either of my friends, but I think the first person she could say yes or okay to would probably be you. But no, let's hit you with some wrestling history, okay?
All right.
And this is why I had to bring it up. It's been 40 years since the first WrestleMania. Today, March 31st of 1985 was the very first WrestleMania.
I would have been 5.
5. I was -2.
Negative 2.
But no, it was either that or the very first hardcore match.
You got to go with WrestleMania. Especially this season.
I figured I had to. I mean, building up to it. I mean, this will be after Last Chance, coming into the last show of HCW's Legacy run. Is that how you call that?
Correct. Yeah.
So I think it ties in pretty well. But no, WrestleMania. I didn't. Now, how many WrestleManias is this now? What was last year's? Was that 40?
You're asking big things, Bobby. I
know
figured, it's a lot. I know
it was
40.
like because it was a big show, wasn't it?
Yeah. There's been a lot of big shows, but
like that. It was a big 3-day event. That's why I thought it was like I thought that was.
No, they moved
40.
them all to 2 days. They're both
2 days.
Both 2 days.
But like the numbers just didn't add up. Did they have a couple years where they didn't have a WrestleMania?
No, never.
Okay, so it's got to be. So 39 must have been last year.
Yeah. So this one's 40.
Okay, so I didn't realize that this was 40. I thought last year was 40 or 30 or something like that. For some reason, I thought it was like the round big number that you celebrate. But
no, it says 2025 WrestleMania 41 tickets, so
okay.
It is 41.
So they've had
in
one
Vegas,
more.
The 19th and 20th. You know, it's weird that.
Did they have 2 1 year?
Yeah, well, they do. It's a 2-day show now, so it's the 19th and 20th, which falls on Easter this year, which is weird that they're
420?
running a.
Well, no, the reason I asked is
WrestleMania
because
on
this is
Easter.
their 40 year, but their 41st WrestleMania. That's what I found weird. 1985 was WrestleMania 1. This would be 40 years exactly, so why isn't this 40?
Because the.
Sorry to pick your brain this late in the day.
I don't know.
I just didn't know. The math didn't
I'm
add
not
up
sure.
at first. I was like,
I'm pretty sure this is 41 because that's everything I'm seeing.
I'm going off of what they're saying, but like when they said 85, this is 2025 makes it 40. I was like, how the hell is that? Because I thought last year was the big number. So, but anyway, that was today's history. The other one was, like I said, the hardcore match. But no, like I said, I told everybody that we're going to pick your brain, kind of get your. What's your favorite questions to be asked anyway? Like about wrestling?
It's hard because there's a lot. Like a lot of people ask me a lot of different things, and I enjoy telling my side, my journey, my stories, my kids' stories, like which I'm meaning my wrestling kids' stories, and just different stuff like that that makes it really fun to dive into. Is just different stuff. Like I've been doing this since 2001, and before I started like actually becoming a wrestler, I was doing it in the backyard where we built my own ring and stuff like that. So I've been at this gig for a minute or two, so I like talking about it. I still love it. So yeah, I'm open to almost anything.
Well, the reason I asked is because, like you said, hey, we're going to do this. And I was like, okay, I'll plan some questions. But, like, as a kid, like, I don't think I've ever sat and asked you, hey, about this, about wrestling. Like, I don't think any of us have we?
Not really. You know, when y'all were younger, you and JD and
Josh.
Jordan, I mean, he goes by JD, so try to respect that a little bit. It's Josh to me. Like, when I'm talking to him, it's Josh. But, you know. Y'all were involved with a lot of what I was doing, so you know you didn't take the time to just ask about it. So I think being there in a little bit, and then later on in life, actually bringing you into a professional aspect, it's kind of a full circle story.
Yeah, I would say the only thing professional I ever did about it way before this was that one time that me and Josh did security at that one show in Texas. I was like, this isn't security. But this is also before I started the prison, too, so I had no idea what security really was.
That's true.
Until afterwards. It's like, yeah, that wasn't security. I was legitimately babysitting.
Yeah, pretty much.
But that's what's fun about wrestling is that you never know what's going to happen.
You know, and that's
as a fan.
That's the uniqueness. That's the draw of wrestling. So, wrestling's been around for a long time, and it wouldn't have the longevity that it had if it wasn't about telling stories. And there's always going to be the good versus the bad. There's always going to be the story in that and different ways to tell it. And with professional wrestling, in my opinion, we do a good job of that storytelling, that good versus evil, that babyface, comes triumphantly, trying to get to the top. We tell good stories in that aspect. And maybe it's not always what the audience in general or the fans want out of it, but it tells that story and it keeps them intrigued. And that's what I like about it. Like, I'm allowed to tell the stories and tell them how I think I see fit with the input of the people around me.
Well, I think a good testament to that is like we saw this with the heel turn of Cena. Like that's like nobody expected that. I mean, maybe if you were like that person that kind of saw it coming, like I would have never guessed it. But like you saw the reaction of the kids. Yeah. That was the most wild thing.
Yeah, and when he called out the one kid's in the promo and he's standing there and that kid's got the everything John Cena on, that kid, just heartbroken. But
have you ever felt like that?
That's the aspect. I would say yeah. I would say when Hogan joined the NWO, kind of hit me like, what the crap just happened? And I thought it was good. Like, it really, I was a little older, so I could appreciate the heel turn. John Cena's right now feels a little off. I I think the angle that they're trying to go on it. But I'm a firm believer of, I might think it feels off now, but in the end of the story, it will all make sense because WWE is at the top of professional wrestling for a reason. So I never try to question what they do.
Well, that's, I think, a perfect segue to start this. So I'm going to start off with wrestling questions. So you as a wrestler,
Okay.
That way then we can blend into more of the promotion and ownership side of things.
Okay.
But I think with that being said, like with the wrestlers we've had on here, I think it's safe to say that everyone that we've had on, including yourself, has their own philosophy about wrestling, whether that be it's an entertainment industry or it's a sport or it's life. I think life would be like half of the people we've had on, and then the other ones are probably mixed. But I think they all have a different definition for what wrestling and a pro wrestler is. So what's your definition of a pro wrestler?
A pro wrestler is a person that goes out every day to better his body, to better his persona, and to better himself in the ring, to entertain the people that spend their hard-earned money to come watch what we do. That's a professional wrestler. Somebody that really invokes the embody, like their whole goal is to either make that crowd cheer them or boo them, and in whatever way they use to get that over. And it takes everything. It takes training. It takes gym work. It takes, promo work. It takes time in the ring. Like, you don't really start understanding the grind of the professional wrestling world, in my opinion, until you've hit 6-7 years. Especially on the independent scene. Like, there's so many places out there. Texas is a world in its own. Oklahoma has a ton of federations. Kansas alone has probably 8, if not 10. So, like, the grind of finding the good, finding the bad, learning what's significant, what works. Sometimes what works in one place doesn't work in another. And it's about learning all of that. And I think the people that take that knowledge and take that stuff and move through the rankings and try to get up there, it takes a special person. Knowing the right people is a big thing. Going and attending seminars where could open doors for you. Johnny Faith right now is doing Jacob Richards Wrestling Academy, on the whim of he just wants to get better. And so it's really about the grind and what are you going to do to sacrifice to get to that grind? Because as wrestlers, we miss birthdays, we miss holidays, we miss big occasions. There's times where we're trying to book out a year ahead of time, and that's before most people set things up to do. So then you're not going on family outings or stuff like that because you're booked in Tennessee or, Georgia or Florida or somewhere like that where you've got to drive down, you've got to work, you've got to wrestle because that's what it takes to get your name out there.
Well, I think the grind is what, I think that everything that you said, pretty much the grind and being willing to put yourself out there really too. Yeah. But with that being said, looking back at your first 5 years in wrestling, that grind and that mentality of making yourself better, whether that be going to seminars or working on certain aspects of your wrestling, what did you do in your first 5 years that you wish you would have done? Or what do you do now that you wish you would have done in your first 5 years of wrestling?
So the first 5 years of my career was we didn't have as much internet access, like Facebook and stuff like that. The digital age has made it 10 times easier. I wish I would have sent out more tapes, tried to get myself out there a little more than I did that first 5 years. I was comfortable because I was wrestling in Amarillo. I was trained under Terry Daniels, which has he done some stuff, went to WCW, tagged with Sergeant Slaughter, stuff like that. And that first year, we were wrestling probably every other week just in Amarillo. So I didn't feel like I needed to go out and travel and get out of there because I was wrestling and doing what I wanted almost consistently. And once, I hit those 5-year mark, 6-year mark, you start looking at, and I need to be like, if I really want to make something out of this, I got to get out there. I've got to leave Texas. I've got to get into other territories, and try to kind of get some stuff. And then, so that would be the biggest, is try to get my name out there a little quicker than I did.
And I think you've given that challenge to like 3 or 4 guys that we found on here with Chance, Kane. Like, I think you challenged him to 2 or 3 more states that you think that he could be topping off at.
Yeah.
I mean, you do that every episode. Like, you give them a challenge, whether that be travel more states or just even getting in the car to travel. I think you gave that one to Chance when he was on, like just getting in the car, whether that be to somewhere else in Kansas or whatever. But like, I don't know how many owners that you know. I'm sure it's a plethora of them, whether that be owners or promoters. I only know one, technically. So with that being said, like, and I look at this as a different, from a different angle, as in like coaches coach because they weren't able to play, and vice versa, or players play because they weren't able to coach. Now, can you say that that's possible for wrestlers? Do you think somebody who's never wrestled could be a good promoter? Or has that ever happened?
I don't think so, because like I guess it would really depend, but in my experience, my wrestling career has helped my ownership now, if that makes any sense. And the fact that I'm a trainer helps HCW, because I'm steadily moving kids in and out and doing stuff, and it can kind of hinder me too, because then I get into a state of, well, I'm gonna book these people because they're local,
it's comfortable, and they're showing up.
They're busting their tails for me as a promotion, so I want to have them on my cards. But then you lose out on some of the bigger names. But I try to make a good mix between them both, where I'm bringing in some very good talent here and there, and still using my guys and my kids, because they do bust their ass for me.
Have you ever seen anybody that was a promoter that didn't really wrestle at all? Like, whether that be like at your level or something lower? Like, I mean, we saw McMahon in the ring when he was in the front line.
Like, I have experience. So like Duncan never wrestled. And he owned half of XWE, and then so there was a little bit on there, but I would think most promoters have at least tipped their toe into
like going to
wrestling.
Training, probably.
Correct.
Okay.
Learning, because you got to me, there's so much in promoting. There's not only putting the cards together, bringing the stories together, but there's also the aspect of, talking to the talent, knowing what talent knowing what to look for good talent. Can you tell if they can bump well? Can you tell if they have decent promos? Are they decent workers? Are they good in your locker room? There's a lot of stuff that I feel being a wrestler helps.
Okay. Well, I guess, I mean, as an independent wrestler and an owner, and like, would you rather it be called an owner or promoter? Or is it the same thing? First off, because when I hear it, I think of two different things.
It's pretty much the same, because I own the company. Well, I guess it'd be two different, because I could hire a promoter and still own the company.
Gotcha.
So I guess it would be owner/promoter.
Okay. So being an owner/promoter, I'm sure everybody can agree that's a fan of not just HCW, but independent and big stage wrestling. Independent wrestling is a proving ground for several men and women that have made it big into into WWE, or what are all the other ones?
AEW, TNA, NWA.
Is it NXT one still, or is
NXT?
Okay,
is still one.
But it started a lot of them. It started in independent. Is that right?
For a lot. Now WWE does have their own developmental, where they bring people into Florida right out of college, so they'll try to pull D1 athletes and stuff over there and then train them from the ground up. But there is still a lot of the independent. You can get into some good wrestling and get into a bigger career starting in the independents and working your way through. And I think it's more prevalent now, even though I do feel like there's a ton of training places out there, and there's a ton of promotions being ran that might not have survived back in the olden days when it was more like you're gonna run things this way or you.
So I guess to start that off, what do you think wrestlers get more right now from the independent world before they make it, or if they are going to make it to that big stage? That's the biggest one is reps.
Reps, because you're doing all these reps in front of how many different crowds. So can you get over with Tennessee? Can you get over with California? Can you get over with Kansas? Can you get over with North Carolina? Can you get over in the different areas? And that's the biggest and why traveling, in my opinion, is important, is because once you get into one of the big companies, you're gonna be traveling. They don't just run in one town, one area. They're all over the country, all over the world, some of them. And can you get over everywhere you go? Because if you can't, then when you get there to that level, you're not gonna last there long. Because you got to be able to get over and learn what getting over means. Anyone can go out and call old buddy in the front row an idiot and get him mad at you and, go from there. But can you get the whole crowd mad at you for some words or some action?
Kane Carter, if you will.
Kane's a great one. Red used to get people mad. Handgun Dan is very good at riling up the crowd.
Dick.
Dickie is excellent manager. He reminds me a lot of a young Paul Heyman or a young Jim Cornette, because he's just a heat magnet. And if you don't know what heat means, that's just a heel. That you get that people to dislike you. So just a heat magnet, and he's good at it.
So on the flip side of that, what do you think the people like WWE and the NXT get from the independent world of wrestlers?
Some bad. Like, you get a lot of bad habits, I'm sure. I see a lot of bad habits on just my side of the independent level compared to what I watch. You know what I mean? So I'll see when people have bad habits and stuff like that. Well, so if someone runs the indies and do well, they're going to get into one of the big companies and have to break some of them bad habits. Also, you have to learn to work TV, because working TV is different than working just a house show. If you go over in a house show, you might get little heat in the back, but okay, you went over. You go over on TV, you could cost a company a lot of money. They could fire you on the spot. So, it's important to make sure you're hitting your times and learning to work TV and where the cameras are and where to turn and all that stuff. So
yeah, that mic thing messed me up when Ray said it. I was like, what?
Oh yeah.
You would have thought that somebody said that to me day one. I was like, shit, my back has been to that camera since day one.
So it's just about learning and growing. Like, no one gave me a handbook and said, all right, this is how you run a wrestling. But with my travel and watching and learning and how I vision things, I've put together what we run in HCW.
Well, with that being said, like, how I guess for an estimate, how many promotions do you think you've wrestled for? Just a ballpark.
In the 24 years of wrestling?
Yep. I mean, 100?
Probably hundreds.
Okay. Well, I mean, and I was wondering because, you've wrestled probably in I would say over half the states.
Oh yeah. So I have a state map in my house on my wall, because one of my goals was to wrestle in every state in the United States. And so I have a map on my wall that has pins in all the states that I've wrestled in. Now, a few of the pins have filled out, or I've moved them from like places that people know I've been at. So like Texas and Kansas and stuff like that. I'll move them to other areas because I can't find my pins or too lazy to go buy them. But yeah, I really just probably about half.
Okay, so with that in mind, like, out of all those that you've, like, Is there anything consistent you see across the board with those like promotions, whether they be independent or even, I guess, mid-level, that you see that maybe like you feel like is holding them back from success, that you feel like maybe you could maybe kind of say, hey, let's work on this so we can make it better? Like, is there anything like that that you noticed, like that maybe not necessarily HCW doesn't do, but like you strive to work on that to build success?
So that I've seen in other areas that they do that they should work on? Or
Yeah,
that
something consistent.
Something
like,
HCW should work on?
No, anything. So something consistent that you've seen even HCW maybe have, that you wish that like even independent worlds, just to be better and get their, like, not just their name out, but just the word independent out there.
Having professional looking stuff. So like, I think we do a good job with HCW on our ring looks professional, our entranceway looks professional. Like, we've clearly spent some money on it, and there's still some upgrades I want to do. I want lighting. I want video at some point, so we can do entrance videos and, you know, live promos that were cut that help set up the match so the crowd knows a little bit. But so there's still some growing there. But I think that, you know, some of these independent companies, maybe you come out of one curtain, or maybe you come out of even just a locker room door. So stepping that game up makes things look better, in my opinion.
And is that, do you think, for the fans' perspective or from the wrestlers, like to where they feel like it means something?
I think both. Okay. Like, if I go to a show and I look and this setup's like, oh, I'm going to come out of this door.
Almost looks like daycare.
Yeah, it's like, okay, like, this ain't really super exciting. Oh, but if I get to come out of a curtain with, it's got some good music going and the ring looks nice and looks professional, I can get you a little more pumped up, like more ready to roll. Okay, you're
there for something.
They've spent some money on the stuff they're doing, so they care. And makes me care.
Okay. So I guess now that we've been able to talk a little bit about, I mean, we probably haven't even hit the crest of like the wrestling part of things, because like I said, I've only seen one XWE show, which was here in town, and that hotel has now recently been torn down.
Yeah, that's crazy.
One time in Texas, and then now at HCW. Never, I mean, but I think that that's also because I was around it so much. But like I said, I'm a terrible wrestling fan, and I think it takes a special person to like help a wrestler out, and I don't think I'm that guy. Like, gotcha. I can't get enthusiastic for you especially if I don't know you. But like, if I know, say, Blade's coming out, or if I know Jordan Rivers is coming out, I'm gonna get enthusiastic for it because I know that guy and I know what he needs to do, and I think that's the ultimate goal. But I guess as an owner, what has been what made you want to get into the ownership, like, or promoting part of things?
So I knew early on in my career that the way my knees are, stuff like that, I would never really make it to like a big name company. You got to go through so many medical checks and stuff like that. And I knew early on that my knees would never, ever handle that. But I still felt that I could have a great career as an independent wrestler, wrestle a lot of different places, and make a decent name for myself. And then about probably 10 years in, I was like, you know, I ran a backyard fed, and we even had people come watch that at times.
The whole neighborhood.
Right. And I'm decent at talking to people and getting people excited about stuff. And
like our mics.
And I love this business. Like, I love watching our crowd's reactions to stuff. I love watching the wrestlers come back through the curtain, enjoying how they got the crowd to react, or being mad at themselves because they didn't get the reaction they were hoping to get. All that little stuff means something to me. It makes me feel good. It makes me feel bad. It makes me feel like we can get better here. We can do this different. We can do that, this and that. My ultimate goal is to make HCW grow in a household. Like, maybe not every household in America might know HCW, But when people talk on the independent circuit, they'll be like, "Oh yeah, HCW is a good company."
It's at least personal now.
Yeah.
Like it's personal for the wrestlers, for the owner, and also for the fans right now in Wichita for sure.
Yeah, for sure. And our Wichita crowd, God, I love, like, most of my promoting career so far has been in Salina, which we just took scheduled dates in. I mean, I'm excited to go back there. But HCW has started in Wichita, and the crowd base that we have built there, that are there every show, that support the crap out of us, I can't thank them enough, because they've let me put something that I love and I dream out, and they enjoy it. And that makes me happy, because now I'm giving back. I'm giving younger wrestling kids opportunities to work shows. And I'm giving Wichita something to follow and get behind. Yeah, it's like a minor league baseball league, minor league football, but it's their minor league.
Yeah, it's minor to some, but it's major to a lot.
Correct.
So I mean, I don't think half of the people that I know, whether they be like in our group, that I don't think half of them know like what like ownership is all about and like what it actually takes, whether that be the experience, the knowledge, or who you know. But how many promotions have you actually like ran, or like how many promotions can you say that, oh, I helped promote this company?
ACW back when I started, which was Amarillo Championship Wrestling in Amarillo, Texas. So I helped promote and do things there a lot. But that was when I was really green. So like we were all helping. We were all just trying to get by. And then, XWE was the major one. That's where I really sunk my teeth in, and I still love to this day. I missed XWE, but you know, sometimes chapters close and you move on to next chapters. And I can't be more proud of Heartland Championship Wrestling. So 3, and now I've helped multiple companies. PCW, when they were around, I was always willing to give them help and information and do what I can to help them grow. I always help. One of my good friends is Flex Reed. He runs WWX. Great promotion. He's been around for 20 years, if not more, like WWX has been. So
And that's in Larned?
Yep, Larned, and they've got some shows set up for Pratt. I love going there and helping out, because Flex gives kids opportunities, and I never mind going and helping friends out. So KCXW, I went up there and wrestled for them a time or two. But as far as help, there was another guy group in Osawatomie that I helped out for a little bit until that gentleman passed away, unfortunately.
Is that why your connection with Leavenworth? Is that close to Leavenworth?
No, Leavenworth actually happened because of Jordan and Christine.
Oh, that's right. Okay.
Yeah, Jordan and Christine were trying to find stuff for the Leavenworth Hotel, and they're like, "Hey, y'all want to run a show here?" And so we went in and set things up, and actually helped kick off that up there.
It seems like that one's building like way more naturally than like probably like with me. Like it shocked me with HCW. I was like, when you asked me like to do it, like I did not like at church. Like me and Josh have spoken to church in front of people. Like I was not expecting 300 people. Like the church service is not 300 people where I was at. And so like that, it just felt like that was like very unexpected, but it feels like Leavenworth's almost building natural, like way more, I don't know how natural, I guess, wrestling should be building, but like it feels like it's building pretty naturally. Like you're getting fans left and right.
To me, it's been slow. It's been a slow burn. Like we've been trying to push Leavenworth since before I even sold XWE and started Heartland. And like we've had, I think our top show was like 105 people, which in my standard, I would love way more. You know, if we don't pull over 150 people, it kind of sucks. So it's always about promoting, pushing, doing what I can to make sure people know we're there, and bringing fun family entertainment too.
And with that, you just went and did their St. Patty's Day parade.
We did.
And you also did in Wichita.
Correct.
Help promote that. Also help with Calling All Sassholes helped you out with that too. Is that right?
Calling All Sassholes. Listen, Jordan's been fantastic. She's doing great things over there, and I can't be more proud of her. Working hard to get that podcast really moving to where the direction she wants to go. But in the same stance, like, she's all on board. She asked me the other day for a promo code so she can sell tickets for us. Like,
Dang.
how many people can say they have fans that are willing to go out and sell your tickets? Not very many.
Scalpers for the WWE.
You know, so like, I can't be more appreciative. And, you know, we scratch each other's backs. I try to push her show when she drops episodes. I know she pushes us. And then, like, she's super involved with HCW, and that just helps us grow as a community, and keep us around, which is my main goal.
Yeah, and when she was on with us, granted it was team same name, but
Yes.
it's the same platform. I think
I'd like to bring her back on.
that'd be fun.
By herself, get her going, and
we don't need to get her going. I think I think she does that on her own. But no, like, with that in mind, like, everybody that's listened to Bumping Chops and everybody that knows you knows that XWE was, it was a big thing for your career, for like where you are today, especially like with the ownership of HCW, but also, like, I guess emotionally, like, you've got emotion tied to the XWE just because of how much blood, sweat, and tears you put into that company. But, like, how did that relationship start?
So honestly, XWE was kind of weird. I'd gotten hurt out at the prison, and messed my knee up. I'd gained a ton of weight. I think I was up to like 540 pounds was my heaviest.
Damn.
And doctor told me if I didn't make a change, I was gonna die. I wasn't able to wrestle. I just kind of, was doing my own thing, sitting at home and getting fatter is basically what I was doing. So I went to work on getting weight off, busted my tail, doing everything I could to drop weight. And once I was down where I could move a little bit and do some stuff, I had to get back into wrestling. And I reached out to XWE. They were a backyard fed that had built from a trampoline, bringing people into their backyard, to buying a ring, to starting promoting shows. I seen them and I shot them a message and I said, hey man, like, I've been wrestling for quite a while. I loved an opportunity to come in and just help out the company grow. It looks like y'all are doing good stuff. And they were hesitant at first. Like, they didn't want, so they had done something with another promoter at one point that kind of just trashed them and shit on them. And they were scared of that. So I actually talked to Nathan McClanahan. He wrestled under the name of the Gnatester, so it was a Hulk Hogan style gimmick. And I talked to him, and we hit it off pretty quick. And then the other gentleman was Chris Crazy, and he was kind of still hesitant. So it took about 3 months for them to finally say, hey, why don't you come to a training session and let's see what you got. And so I went up there and did a little training session with them, and they realized real quick that I wasn't bullshitting. I knew what I was talking about. I immediately started trying to correct a lot of the then wrestlers' bad habits because, like I said, they did start from the backyard. But the one thing XWE did is they put on good shows. They promoted the crowd out of it. They had decent crowds, and their setup and entrances were just phenomenal. And so I was able to get involved there, and probably about 3 months in, they asked me to become the head trainer. And so I started training everybody in the professional style, and everybody would be at training. We ran in this little garage. We had to walk through a bunch of stuff to get back to our little area, but people were there, and we'd train. Go, go, go. It's where I met Aaron Helms. We were playing Ark on Xbox, and he had said something about going to a strip club, and I realized that the strip club was in Wichita, and I said, "Where do you live?" And he said, "Well, Wichita, Kansas." Actually, he said Derby. And I said, "You're full of shit, man." I said, "I'm in Hutch." And he was like, "Nuh-uh, man, you're full of it." So we got to talking about wrestling, and I said, "Well, I run a training facility for a company called XWE in Salina. You should come down." And so Aaron,
you guys met on the game arc.
correct.
Oh, okay. I thought you met him out wrestling, and then you guys started playing arc.
No,
Okay,
no,
so
no.
that's-
We met
okay.
him I met him
Okay.
on the game.
Yeah, Daniel was like, "You got to play arc." I was like, yeah, that's not for me, bro.
It was a blast.
I just can't get into that.
So I started training Helms, and then Helms brought in Remington, and I trained Remington up. And then he introduced me to Drake and the Oklahoma guys. And of course, that's history. Like, me and Drake are super close. So, Aaron Helms opened a lot of those doors just from contacts he knew, just from doing backyard stuff. And we built XWE into a legitimate independent wrestling company. It's also where I reached out to Bob Evans. Bob Evans was set to do a seminar for, I think, KCXW. And I seen where felt I could get him in, and wouldn't stop messaging him until he agreed to it, and then brought him in, and he's kind of mentored me since and helped me kind of grow and move and build. So it helped get us to where we needed with XWE, where people didn't look at it anymore as, oh, that's just a backyard fed that had a ring. Now they were a legitimate wrestling company, and we started building from there. And then the owners at the time, Nate was in the process of having a baby and getting married, and so he wanted to sell his part. And Cody, who had bought in, had an opportunity or he was going to work more with his job, going to Canada and stuff like that, making good money. So he didn't have time anymore. So he sold to me and Duncan. And then me and Duncan ran it for quite a while.
Oh, wow. So they've had several owners, like technically
Correct.
like owners under that brand.
Yeah.
Okay. So how many years did you actually start promoting with them?
So I helped promote XWE for...
And own. Let's not forget that. You
Correct.
also own them.
I did own, yeah. Man. 9 years?
So 9 years. Okay. So in that, is that also how the Bears Den started? Or was the Bears Den already a name before that?
No, I came up with the Bears Den kind of after I left Salina. 2020 closed the Ambassador Hotel. And so that's where the training facility was at for a while. And we really didn't have a name. I think we called it the Kansas Wrestling Alliance because I helped start a group of promoters that worked under one banner called the Kansas Wrestling Alliance. Me and Flex Reed and Mitch Bass all sat down one day and we were like, "Hey, let's do this." And I kind of put that together and started the Kansas Wrestling Alliance. And we built that to decent size until it kind of crumbled.
So after 9 years, it came down to you making a decision or bringing a decision to the table for either you giving the opportunity to buy the full company or walking away.
Correct.
How did that come about?
So I wanted to expand. I wanted to grow. We'd been talking about getting into Wichita for years, and just never pulled the trigger. We had just recently started going to Leavenworth, but it was still small. And my business partner at the time just didn't want to. He didn't want to start moving into other areas until he felt like the area we were in was at max capacity most of the time. And a little bit I understand, but in the most part, I wanted to expand. I kept getting griped at because I'd spend too much money on cards, or we're gonna spend this because I want to go do this here. We ain't got the money to do that. So then I finally made the decision, like, look, I'm tired of getting told no. This is what I want to do. I own 50% of this thing. So either you buy me out, or my first option was me buy XWE. I said, why don't you sell me XWE, stay on and run the front of the house, but sell it to me. And he didn't want to do that. And I understand. Like, you've helped grow this company also. So you loved it just as much as I loved it. And I get that. So I told him, I said, well, the other option is you buy me out. You take XWE and I'm going to start my own thing. So he did. He didn't buy me out for what I asked, but pretty close. I used that, and then my brother pitched in a good chunk of money, and we started HCW.
So, I mean, right now with that being like, I guess that was, it was pretty much held over your head is what it felt like. Not in a malicious way, but like just because you felt like you had so much to lose if you just walked away.
Correct. Yeah.
And then like, was HCW thought about before you brought that to the table or?
Not at all. When I first brought it, I didn't want to sell. Like I struggled probably 2 weeks of making that decision on, all right, well, he's not going to sell it to me. Do I just keep in this partnership or do I say, you know what, it's time to do this? And like never wanted XWE to fall or go away or anything. Like that was such a part of my life for 10 years that we all had a lot of invested into it. And fortunately for me, like a lot of our roster for XWE was my students, my kids that I trained. It was us that were busting our tail and, you know, setting that thing up and tearing it down and staying till late hours, rolling those mats up and doing the different stuff that was needed. It was me and my students that were doing all of that. And when I left and my students came with me, that kind of hurt. You know what I mean? Like you went from someone that ran everything besides the front of the house to not having anybody that does all that. And that puts a strain on people. It makes people realize, oh, like this was a little bit of a struggle. So, you know, no hard feelings on any of it. Like I message Duncan every now and then. He don't respond as much now, especially after I've put out the Salina dates. And I didn't do this that maliciously. I put out Salina dates after being told and confirming that XWE hadn't given any dates. They didn't plan on giving any dates for a little bit. And talking with Paradox, who was a major part of XWE through the whole time I was there. And I got the green light to start looking for a venue in Salina and happened across Sky Trampoline having an opening and went in, talked to Josh Gardner there, and he felt like we could bring something to the table too. And so we locked in 3 shows for this year. And I hope to do once a month in Salina next year.
Dang. So your dreams are coming true at least.
Yeah, slow and sure, man. Like I love giving people opportunities to wrestle. My kids, like, especially, but like, there's a lot of good talent around. There's a lot of good talent that Kansas hasn't gotten to see. And I'm bringing people in. Look, Camaro Jackson, fantastic athlete, fantastic worker. Kane Carter. Kane Carter, Texas boy. Now he's making a huge name for himself in Kansas. You know, people outside of Kansas coming in, working with my guys and making them better at the same time they're getting better and really coming a staple into Kansas. And it makes me happy. Like, because I get to be that help. And a long time ago, someone told me that No one cares about Kansas wrestling. It's just a flyover state. And forever, I will do whatever I can to change that. Like, I want people to go, oh, Kansas got HCW down there. Like, they got some talent. And it'll come. Like, we're doing things slowly and surely, you know, to push everything we can. And my guys bust their tails. And, you know, we got people that are new that still are in the learning process. And I'm not ever going to cut that completely out because they've got to have places to run and wrestle to help learn their craft. And I like giving people opportunities.
And you see the enthusiasm, not just from the fans of HCW, but also the wrestlers come to be a part of something. And I think it's also the welcoming that they've got. So like we've had King Carter on here. He loves every second of it. I mean, he didn't like the reaction that he got from the fans last show, but like they loved him. I mean, and I think that's just a part of wrestling, and that's where things happen naturally for wrestlers. You know,
and now I run a show that's pretty relaxed. Like I have how I want things to go and stuff, and I give them agendas and hey, I'd like to see this tonight, and the crowd I try to listen to, and I'm one of those promoters that I'm going to listen to my wrestlers. I'm going to give them options and say, hey, like, what do you think in this situation? How would you like this to go? When sometimes they can go into places and just go, oh, you're going to do this. I don't care, you know, what the story is, you know, go out, tell a one-day story, and that's that. I like to dig our teeth into stuff. I like to give our crowd something to go, oh, what's going to happen next?
Well, you noticed that when, Calling All Cecils had the fans on their show and then talking about it. Like, I mean, you see, like, I mean, and I really have nothing to go off of, like, but I see how the crowd reacts each show that they go out to. Like, they're either going to react or they're not. You're never going to get, like, at least I don't think you'll notice it. Like, you're never going to get that mid. They're either reacting or they're not reacting. Like, and that could just be because I've only been at one promotion to do that type of stuff. But no, it's awesome. Like, just to see how, like, it's a community. HCW is a community. It's not just wrestling. It's not just fans. It's not obviously not just entertainment or athletes. It's a fan base. It's a family
for sure.
So, I mean, I think that's something even more to be proud of.
And you know, that didn't come from just me, and it doesn't come from just me. But I've taken influences from everywhere. You know, when I started wrestling, a 14-year-old kid ran the company that I started with.
Oh, the one in Texas you're talking about.
His name's Bryce Payne. And he had Terry Daniels in there as the head trainer, and he was really trying to push things. And I'm still friends to him this day. He actually wrestles every now and then. He's coming off an injury, but I'm hoping to have him in HCW at some point.
And that's the man that is known for giving chops that make people spit up blood, correct?
Yeah. Bryce Payne will chop the shit out of you. I think him and Gunther need to have a chopping contest. I think Bryce would lose. But he's got some flair chops that will knife.
All I did was hear about it. I don't think I ever saw it. I don't remember seeing it, but I did hear about it.
And he's a technical wrestling machine. Like, I would love to bring him in just to coach the technical wrestling side of my trainings.
Is there anybody in HCW right now that sort of reminds, like, gives off that flair that he had? I mean, I know that you talk about him a lot, or you used to.
Right. And I still do. Bryce is my buddy. Cool story. You know, remember Tino Valentino?
Yeah.
Come out with a rose? Mm-hmm. That's Bryce's nephew.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
Okay. I don't even want to bring this up, so I'm not going to bring it up, but I'll say off there. But no, Tino, yeah, I know Tino. Like, wow. Like, yeah, that's wild.
Yeah, it's pretty cool.
I don't want to throw myself under the bus.
Yeah, man, Bryce is great. I see a lot of Bryce Payne and Gavin Bush.
Oh, wow.
I really do.
Keep hearing Gavin every single episode.
The kid's good. The kid, he understands, and he's got a long way to go. Got a lot of work to do.
I think it helps when everybody is able to tell him that too.
And he listens. If he didn't listen, people wouldn't talk about him. If he went out there and just tried to bullshit his way through,
you see a complete
different,
complete 180. Like, it's.
But he'll go out there and little things. You tell him a little thing, I can give him a critique. Hey, you did this in this spot. Would it have made sense if you would have did this? And then it'll click for him, and you watch his eyes light up. Oh, I didn't even think about that. And then you watch him a couple months later, and he does something that you have suggested before, and you go, "Oh, that kid's listening." And then you want to pay a little more attention to it, and that's how you get in, and that's how you start to get yourself over, is by being that person that wants to listen, that wants to work. Like, he don't miss many training days, and he's been working for 6-7 months now, if not a year. And he's still comes to training. He's always wanting to get better. You know, I'm not going to spoil that. I think you'll see at this show, but pay attention to Gavin Bush this show, and you might see something new. It's pretty cool.
I do remember Gavin's first show. I don't remember his first match, but it was at the pop-up show in Wichita. Right. At the was that like a Toppers?
Yep, it was Toppers.
It was at Toppers, and it was with it was one of the Chanclas, wasn't it? Or am I correct? Am I wrong?
I think it was with Angel.
It was, okay. So I do remember like who it was, but I don't remember the match. But now that we've been able to sit here and talk to different people and they bring it up, it's like, oh, I remember that. Like, and then you kind of feel bad, like when you weren't at Leavenworth and you hear about like Remington eating his mirror. Like, it's those little things that like, it's like, oh wow. Like, so I'm actually able to watch a guy grow. So that's a total different aspect as a fan. So I remember his first show. I remember like who he wrestled, but I don't remember what happened. So that's the downfall from that.
But that's what's cool about HCW in Wichita. Like, those Wichita fans feel like they're watching these kids grow in front of them and get better and do different stuff. Like a Kargar. Like, Kargar has a unique gimmick and a unique person, and when he comes to the crowd, like the crowd's watching him get better every time he goes out there. Same with Gavin Bush, same with a lot of these guys. So Seventh Seal, they're still young. Besides Blade, besides me, like those guys are still young kids, like learning and growing, and they might not look young, but
Simon's promos have gotten wild.
Simon's whole gimmick right now is on point. Simon's locked into a good place right now. Now it's my job to capitalize on that, and it'll come.
Now does KT Lynn?
Yeah.
Okay. So, and I'm getting off topic, but how long has she been wrestling? Or has she ever wrestled in a match?
She has not. And Katie Lynn's not fully trained to bump and stuff like that. Katie Lynn is 100% Simon's girlfriend. Like, they're a couple. And I felt like her persona and her just unique look and uniqueness gave her something that we could work with. And I'd been wanting to put this little group together to not only, help me along through the last part of my career, but, also bring something more unique to HCW. And I kind of did it with the Cursed, with me and Kuda. But we really pushed hard for her, and she's been fantastic. Like, she listens, she wants to get better. She's talked about coming in and learning to bump just in case we need her to do stuff.
It's a very I guess necessary supporting part of the Seventh Seal.
Correct.
For real.
Yeah. She plays a major role in what we're doing within the Seventh Seal. Like, just like you might think it's a small role, but if you pay attention, like, last show she came out when Kuda and Aaron Helms was wrestling. They even talked about it on the Sassholes podcast. Like, who was she out there watching? Was she out there watching Helms?
But
was she out there watching Kuda?
Angel made a good point. Let's not forget that. So, I mean, he made a good point, but I don't want to get off topic, but keep talking. I could go down a whole rabbit hole, but keep talking as you're talking.
Like, she plays a major role, and it's you find those roles or uniquenesses that might catch someone's attention or bring some oh, what's going on here? And that sparks an interest, and that interest could bring better stuff going on. It could fizzle out like it happens. But I try to stoke that fire and keep that thing going.
Well, it is pretty awesome to just watch. I mean, I'm watching it from the ground up, so that's what's, I guess, the most unique part of it. I mean, expectations were, I had no expectations, so that right there should tell you that I'm impressed. So I hope I've got enough, I don't know, friendship with you to be like, oh, I'm impressed that I'm able to impress him.
Yeah, and the thing about you is like, you'd always been one of the guys that have been like, all right, like I'll try it. And the fact that you were willing to like jump in feet first, no give a fucks, like let's do this thing and I'll see how it goes. And then you get better every time we go out. Like now we're to a point where I don't like HCW having other announcers. I like when you're there.
Hey, I'm sure anybody could do announcing, but do you think they know my name?
I'm sure they know you.
I don't know because I don't ever say my name on purpose.
Think?
I hate saying my name. It just sounds weird coming off my own tongue.
Huh?
Because I got two first names.
I mean, I guess
Bobby Casey.
I can see your point there, but I would think
I've just never thought about introducing myself. Hey, I'm Bobby. Like this right here. Like this is just nonchalant, but
right.
like. I got a goal, and it's to get this out of my mouth, not my name. So,
like,
no, it's been awesome.
Like, I love my brother announcing. Like, at this point, it's him or you that I would rather have. Like, if I can at least have one of y'all at my shows,
and then
I'm happy. So, but he's just busy. Like, he has his own band. He has his own different stuff. But he does a damn good job, too. So... but be proud of yourself. Like you've been growing just as much as we've been growing because every time you're in that ring, you listen, you try to get better. And I throw random shit at you at odd times going, hey, I need you to do
that
this.
That first day, they're like, hey, you gotta go talk to him. I don't know what the hell to talk to him about. Like, I don't even know, like, what, like, hey, what's your favorite NFL team? Hey, let's talk about that. It's more personal level, but like, I mean, I get like what you mean. Hey, buy sometimes. All right, let's try this. Let's talk about how Blade's favorite podcast is calling us assholes. So
I don't know. Like, they keep making him do terrible things to Chance Kerrigan.
Oh man. But no, I've got a few more things for you. I guess it's going to be like sort of expectation type questions. So like when you first started HCW, did you see it where it is now, or did you have bigger, I guess, expectations for it?
I always wanted to be bigger, but we're doing what I wanted to have a successful monthly show somewhere. You have to have a crowd that gets involved and invested, and we've built that. Like in my opinion, our Wichita crowd, if they know we're having a show, they're going to be there. They're going to do whatever they need to do to be there.
Negative 30-degree temperatures get perfect.
And so we've established that foothold, that what I wanted. Now it's time to build it. Now it's time not only to build it for us, but to build it for Wichita, to build it for Salina, to build it for Leavenworth, and to build it for the wrestlers and the wrestling fans. I would love to, through wrestling, help Wichita's community grow. Team Sassholes is doing this thing where she's trying to bring in small business owners and stuff to kind of shine a light on them. I think that's fantastic. Opens doors for people like me where, oh, this is a small business. Let me talk to them. How can I help them? How can they help me? Let's build together. Because if I eat, you eat. You know what I mean? And if you have an outlook of let's get better together, then, hey, help me get better, then you're going to help build the community. And that's my goal.
So with that said, what is, I guess, a misconception that you wish you could get across to other wrestlers that they don't necessarily understand about the ownership and promotion part of wrestling yet?
It's not as easy as, throw these matches together, put a show on, and people show up and do stuff. Like, it takes a lot of work, takes a lot of time, takes a lot of money. I hate I will never tell someone I'm going to pay them this price and then short them when it comes to it. I'm pretty open on about, hey, I can afford to pay you this. If you'd like to come in, awesome. And if there's like, I've talked about a rate and then had to lower it for a couple shows, I've been completely honest with that. Hey, I have you in here. Can we drop that for a couple shows and I'll jump you back up to that. So I've had people like, I'm an open book. Come talk to me. I don't talk to anybody. Like, you have an issue with me? Come talk to me. I did something that you don't agree with? Come talk to me. Let's work it out, because at the end of the day, I'm not going to get better without everybody else.
So pretty much don't be in junior high anymore. Don't go talking about it. Yeah. Talk to me about it, and then we'll get it settled. Yeah,
come talk to me. Like, we can talk through almost anything. Like, but you have to understand, like, I have at any given time 50 people in my inbox wanting to wrestle.
I'm glad your inbox is not my inbox.
So, like, make me understand why I should do this. Make me understand, like, give me a reason. Like, if someone hits me up and is like, hey, I want to work for you. I've got these dates available that you're running. My carload, or I'm this much money. First off, I'm not paying travel. Like, travel's part of it. Book yourself where you feel like you can get there and get back on your travel stuff. Make your money off your merch. You know what I mean? Like, shoot me just a solid number so I can tell you, yeah, I can cover that, or nah, I can't cover that. Because I don't want someone to come in and go, well, you said you would pay this price plus travel, and they give me $150 travel bill, and I'm like, I'm not paying that. Like, we're not doing that. So shoot me a regular number. All right, I'll take this much money to come in, or I can bring a carload for this much money. I'm always way easier on that. And I understand a lot of times I'll tell you, like, hey, I've got a full card. Hit me up here. Stay on me about trying to get in, because if you don't, I'm going to forget, because I got too much going on. I not only run a professional wrestling company, a training facility, I'm also the manager of a rail crew, like a railroad band company. So I'm go all the time. And so when you message me, you know, I understand that I'm going to look at what can you bring to my table in return. Like, if you want $150 to come in and wrestle for me, do I think I'm going to get $150 worth of new people coming in?
How many tickets is that? That's the question. Like, how many
Correct.
people are you going to bring in the door?
Was 15, it's probably 10 now. Can you bring me in 10 people that wasn't going to be there before? That's what it would cost to bring you in. And there's some people that, I think I can do it, or they send me video and I'm like, okay, I think I can do something. There's some people that will show up, help us set up, help us tear down, just for an opportunity, for a chance. It's how the �々brand got in, honestly. So 𝘂𝐻 brand showed up for probably 4 shows, messaged me beforehand, hey, you mind if I come, help set up, tear down, be around the show, around the company, help wherever you need. Sure, come on.
Now they're wrestling for the titles.
And now they're wrestling for the titles. Like, because they showed up. They put in the work, and they were always there. And at some point, I'm like, all right, guys, well, fuck, let me pay you to come in this time, and let's see what you got. And they went out and had a good showing, and so now they're booked for a while. So, little stuff like that, man, is how you get promoting. You have to give people opportunities. You got to listen to your people. It can't always be your way. And that's hard for even me sometimes, because I'm like, nah, I want this certain way. And then, you know, my guys know that I'm an open book, and they can come say, hey, look, I know you want this like this, but what do you think about this? And if I think it makes sense and I think the crowd would like it, I'm gonna side with them. If I don't, I'm gonna tell them, nah, I don't think we're gonna run with that. I can't tell you how many times Ray Leon has pitched a storyline idea that maybe I didn't go with it at the time, but I said it to the back, And then eventually I'm like, hey, this would be a good spot. Ray had talked about this at this time. Maybe we add this in here. You know, and it's about just listening. And I don't care how young in the business you are. You know, if you want me to listen, I'm going to listen. Just be respectful.
Well, we haven't even hit the crest of like anything really, I think wrestling. But I think in the future we're going to have more episodes like this, which I think is good. So, I mean, if you have those questions, make sure you submit those to, you can submit them through Facebook, to you, to me, the Chubby Buddies on Facebook, or you can comment them in this video or on Spotify. I found out that you can straight comment now, just like YouTube. So, make sure if you have these questions, like just comment them or even send Billy a personal message.
Yeah, you can send me a message. I'll respond to it or get on here and respond to it. I'll shoot them to Bobby. And you know, I don't mind talking. Like, I'll talk to almost anybody about 12
minutes already,
which is crazy to me.
But I guess I'm going to finish like this part of it off with one last question. Give me one short-term goal and one HCW looks like 5 years from now for you goal.
Okay, short-term goals next year. I want to be at a minimum of 30 shows. Long-term goal. I want to be regarded as one of the bigger independent companies, like a GCW, like a World Class when World Class was running. Like I want people to want to work for.
And is that measurable, do you think? Like to like as big as like how you're claiming? I just don't know anything about it. That's why I'm asking.
You know, it is like we're making a name for ourselves when we can start making money consistently with our live streaming and stuff like that, where people are actually watching and paying attention, not just in the town that we're in, but kind of online and stuff. That will help people understand kind of what we're doing and make me feel like we're reaching some other areas that, you know, maybe places won't. So cool. Comes with our video crew. Our video crew has been fantastic.
5,000 some views per episode or per show.
Yeah, and you know that takes a lot of people's work. So I can't be more proud of our team. And I ask a lot of them. I ask a lot from our video guys, from our media guys, from our talent, from our refs. I ask a lot because, you know, we go out and do a wrestling show and the crowd sees 2.5, 3 hours. We start at 10 a.m. We finish at probably 11, 12 o'clock. And it's almost everybody.
I'm out there. I'm sorry.
No, it's okay.
But no, I think that's it for this part of it. But like I said, leave a comment in the comment section or send them to me or Billy or I don't know. Does HCW accept messages?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, and you can
HCW
like when
also.
I share the podcast on the Facebook, just jump on there and comment there too. We'll look there also.
Like you said, he's an open book, and I try to. I mean, I think I've answered every comment on there. So if it has anything to do with this, I don't see all of them. If people share it though, that's the downfall. So just look out for that. I'm not ignoring you. I just don't see it when they comment on it. So, but no. Why don't we get into what's coming up for HCW first? Let's I guess shout out the new. Is it a partnership or is it a sponsor?
So we just got a new sponsor in Barron's Bar, and we're excited. We're gonna bring our after party to them for every show. The crowd's invited to come hang out with us. The wrestlers, we're gonna drink, have a good time. Be safe. Uber to your areas, stuff like that. But
I think you were, leading off by talking about how the crowd can come to Barron's Bar. Is it Barron's Bar?
Yeah, so it's Barron's Bar and Grill. They do have food there. They're going to keep that food going. Come out, drink and hang out with the wrestlers. Enjoy some beverages and, you know, Uber there and back in, or have a DD. We don't want no one in trouble. I Uber there myself.
And tip your waitresses.
Definitely tip your waitresses and let them know how much you enjoy us and enjoy the fact that they're sponsoring us, because without sponsors and people like Barron's Bar and Grill, it's hard to keep the doors open. So we push our sponsors as much as we can.
And that's and do you know where that's located at in Wichita?
So it's I think it's South Pawnee and Meridian. Hang on one second.
So pretty close to Osage.
It may not be Meridian. Okay. Hang on. I'll let you.
And that's you go and follow them on. They have Facebook. Is that right? So follow them on Facebook, and then you can. I think you can leave reviews on Facebook, but they also should have. They should be also on Google. So be sure to leave your comments on Google and reviews on Google, because that only helps them out and helps them grow and bring in more people.
Correct. And it's 2508 South Oliver Avenue. And the owners are fantastic. You know, when I went in and talked to them, it was like going in and talking to some friends. We BS'd a little bit. We talked shop, and then we got to it and hashed out a good sponsorship that I think will not only help HCW, but help them grow also. And I'm excited and honored for the sponsorship.
It'll be fun. I mean, I've never been to an after party just because I'm a busy man. But hey, maybe one of these days I'll make maybe make an after party. But like I said, you need a DD, so somebody's gonna have to come with me. But also you talked about your shows coming up in Salina, and that's right now you have 3 of those, correct? Correct. So 3 of those are going to be coming up. So make sure you're following HCW on Facebook.
Those show dates, let me go grab them.
I think the first one's in June, isn't it?
Yep. So we got June 21st, August 2nd, and November 15th, all in Salina, Kansas at Sky Trampoline. I think on the back of the tickets will be a discount code for Sky Trampoline also. So get your tickets and let's pack that place, show them what HCW can bring to Salina.
And you'll just have to remind me of those dates too, like for the future. But no, that's awesome. So I guess at this point, since it's going to be after Last Chance, we're coming up on Legacy. I mean, we've talked about like your wrestling career. We've talked about your ownership career and promotion career, and it's all about building a legacy, and that's what we're coming up on. We're coming up on that that cresp of the show Legacy, and that's what you built it for, and you built it around your birthday for, I guess, obvious reasons. It's personal to you, but it's also I think at this point it's personal to people in Wichita.
Yeah, you know, and I agree. Like WWE does their WrestleMania. And this is our version of it, and we build all year to get to this point and do different stuff. Like we start January off on that road to Legacy that gets through to April, and it's always around my birthday. So my birthday is April 23rd. So around that will be Legacy every year, and hopefully every year going forward. Until I can't do it no more, and then my kids can continue it. But it's about building that. It's about building my legacy. So what a lot of people don't know is I'm going to be in-ring wrestling for one more year. So I'll run from this April to next April, and then my in-ring wrestling will come to an end. And it will be at Legacy that it happens.
Oh, wow. I'm anticipating who that's going to be against. That's hopefully, I mean, right now you've got a ton of your friends and family that come to each show. So, I mean, I think that'll be pretty good farewell tour for you.
And it'll be nice. Gives me an opportunity to wrestle a lot of my students and my kids, and be in front of those Wichita crowds and tell the stories that I like to tell. And love me or hate me, at the end of the day, I just want to leave a legacy on this career and this business, and that's what legacy is all about.
And that you've done, I think. I mean, just in the short amount of time I've been around. So, I mean, bravo to that. I mean, it's a name, and it's not just a name. It's a like I said, it's a family and a community. Correct. I think, and that's your biggest goal, is just to welcome anybody who's willing to, I guess, find out what they love about wrestling. Yeah,
man. Like, I like giving people opportunities to do what they enjoy, and wrestling gives me that opportunity.
And your brothers, I mean, I don't know if you saw that clip on when Daniel was still consistently on Chubby Buddies. Did you ever see that clip of Josh and Daniel talking about you? We were comparing you to Jason Kelsey and your guys'
gotcha.
I guess, I mean, girl dads, I mean, and your demeanor towards just brothers in general. I mean, you've got probably close to 100 brothers, technically. I mean, if you look at it like blood brothers, yeah, you've got 2 blood brothers or 3.
It would be 3. You know, Chris is a stepbrother, but
blood is not necessarily in the body.
So I got Josh, Daniel, and Chris, brother-wise, and then I've got multiple sisters. So I got Jackie. I've got my sister Donetta, who passed away. I've got my sister Loria, and then I've got my sister Ashley. So got some sisters, and then.
Well, if you haven't seen that clip, I highly recommend going to check it out. I mean, it is on, I think it's like a short clip, like maybe 40 seconds. So
I need to go. I think I listened to the whole podcast when they did it.
Yeah, it was just turned into a clip. It's just them talking about how you, I guess, your reaction towards seeing your wrestler succeed in the ring, at a show, or like where, like you see Stormy going to NXT and all that stuff. So, I mean, just how you react to it and how that brings you more joy than you doing it yourself.
Oh, 100%. If I see one of my, I call them my kids, but one of my students succeed, it brings me a ton of joy. Like, Stormy's been seen on TNA. She's been seen on AEW. She does backstage work for WWE all the time. Remington Roar has a huge name in the genre he likes, which is deathmatch wrestling, and he's got a huge following, and my kids getting out there and traveling to places. I love hearing from other coaches and stuff that get to work with my kids that say, you've got a great basis, like you're being trained correctly. That makes me feel good, lets me know that I'm putting them in a position to succeed and not hinder their career. I do wish I knew about working TV just a little more than I do. I think that would help my kids just even a little better. And I've done some seminars, and I got Bob Evans and Kevin Kelly coming down in October. So I think I'll ask them a little bit of that and pick their brain on some of that stuff. So I can only get better by learning from those that are better than me. And I'm not too proud to ask for suggestions.
And speaking of TV, I don't know if you guys are doing this for Legacy, but I know for Last Chance, you, I guess, would have now worked with ESPN Wichita, giving out tickets on their radio show. Is that right?
Correct. We did team with Wichita's ESPN Radio and have tickets for free. So jump on, follow them, give them a like, let them know that you support HCW, and HCW being on that ESPN Radio will only help us grow. So jump on there, try to win some free tickets, send some messages, stuff like that. That would help us a lot.
Unless you have something else. Legacy is April 26th. Doors open at 5 for VIP. Correct. And what's the other one? I always forget the other ticket.
So 5 for VIP, $5.15 for premium admission. The VIP match starts about $5.20, and then we open the doors for general admission at 5:30. Show kicks off officially at 6 o'clock, and you're looking at about 3 hours. Legacy usually runs just a little longer because there's a lot of matches set for that. We're building for a 6-man ladder match that here at Last Chance you'll see some qualifying matches for. And then we got some other cool stuff on the horizon. So pay attention to Last Chance. It will set up for Legacy in April, and we're off and running. And
go back and rewatch it. It'll be on Facebook immediately, but then you guys also put it on YouTube, right?
Correct. So we do live stream on Facebook if you can't physically make the shows. Watch us on Facebook, like, comment, subscribe. Everything on that thing, helps us grow.
And just to give you a little teaser, the first show last year was 50% of HCW's company. That was match 1.
That was match 1.
So I can only, wonder what's going to happen to this show. So, I mean, you don't have anything else to, I guess, put on the line besides, I guess, pride at this point. So, I mean,
listen, maybe sometime I take that 50% ownership back from Dickie Richards.
Ooh, you could take Kane up on his offer.
Ooh.
Oh.
You know.
Some big oohs.
There's some big oohs. Listen, King Carter's doing a good job right now as being a bad guy. These Wichita people need to quit cheering his ass. And eventually, I'm going to have to turn him into a good guy, and then it'll be Sugar Cane Carter.
It already is Sugar Cane Carter. Or like sweet Sugar Cane Carter.
Oh, yeah.
But no, I think that's an episode, man. I mean, I guess this episode, you probably feel a little left out. You don't get to officially chop anybody with bumping chops. So I guess I'll do you one solid. You've officially been chopped with bumping chops.
Thank you.
Later.
The warriors in the ring with nowhere to go. Blood, sweat, and tears. It's a battle of the wills. We bring the heart to the heartland. Heart to the heartland. Yeah. Turn the volume up. They can hear from hell. Everyone's ready, so let's ring the bell. Ding, ding, ding. Let's start the clock. HCW, yeah.